Hey, it's Monday. We wrapped up our series on God and politics yesterday, and this week obviously is a big week in our nation. So we're just going to talk today about ultimate power in the nation. By the way, we're going to grab some of this from Wayne Grudem's book, Politics According to the Bible. If you're interested in following more on this series we just finished, I really recommend this book. Here's one of the things he says in chapter 5. He talks about the courts and the question of ultimate power in a nation. And he asks this interesting question: who should have it? Who should have ultimate power? And he lists, that you could have monarchies and you can have dictators, you can have prime ministers and presidents, you can have anarchy where there is no, everyone just has their own power. The people have their own power and they do whatever they want to do. And then he talks about the fact that in the U.S., when we were founded, we set up a document, the Constitution, that has that power. And he gives an illustration from the Bible. He talks about the fact that the king was subject to the laws that God had given to Israel in the Old Testament. Now, this is illustrated in the story of David and Bathsheba. When David committed adultery as the king, he arranged to have Bathsheba's husband killed. And we see then the prophet Nathan comes to David and rebukes him in 2 Samuel chapter 12. You can go and read that on your own and take some time. It's really a great read. What a great story. Nathan was sent to David, and Nathan rebuked David. And really the point of that story, in Grudem's mind, is that God's law was ultimately the one that ruled over the nation, not the king, that God had established the law and that David had contradicted that with his actions, and he was not a tyrant. He wasn't allowed to do that. God called him out on that. That's a good thing. And it's a good thing in our nation that we similarly have something like that set up. Something even better, really. Grudem includes this great diagram, and I think it'd be great for you to see this and recognize this, that we live in a great nation. He talks about the fact that we have this Constitution, this document that is the ultimate authority in our land, and that Congress and state and local governments make the laws that come out of the principles in the Constitution, and that the people make the Congress and the state and local government, which is good. So there's this balance of power and authority within our land, and of course the courts then have the basis for judgment of the Constitution, and they judge the laws according to the Constitution. At least we hope that they do, and that they judge us, the people, according to the Constitution and laws. And Grudem's point is this is a good thing. And to me, this really relates to a passage from our sermon yesterday that we talked about, 1 Timothy 2, where Paul writes Timothy, he says, "I urge then, first of all, that petitions and prayers and intercession and thanksgiving be made for all people, for kings and for all those in authority." And, I encourage you to today, in this important week, to pause today and pray for the political process, and pray for our government, and pray for our nation. And particularly, thank God that we have a nation, even though it's not perfect, that we have a nation that does have the balance of power. And let's pray that God's will would be done in our nation, and that our nation would return to biblical principles of right and wrong. Pray that today, and then get out and vote tomorrow.